Was he singing in a mic or?
Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, three-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast with Chris, Dan, Bobby, and Tony, the Uncle Puckers. Let's go Devils!
There was so much to talk about, and then you kind of just threw me off with the overkill. But
Overkill from Jersey to everybody.
We have just eliminated in a amazing Game 7 the New York Rangers and move on to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs with this Devil team. And I am going to play a song about how I feel now, and you're going to see the differences between me and Tony right here.
Wow, you're doing a dance and everything. This is great.
Oh man, what a freaking game, boys.
Huge.
Oh, I don't even know where to start. I mean, this was back against the wall. This young team, nobody knew what to expect except them. They apparently knew exactly what to expect. They said, we need to go out and play exactly like we did at Game 5, and then, we'll get the same score, and we're just going to give these guys no life at all. Choked them out from halfway through from the entire game. Yes. The Rangers had no answers for what the Devils did tonight. Perfectly played game. Akira Schmidt was phenomenal. Anybody that wants to sit there now and say this kid's just lucky, the Rangers aren't making anything difficult for him. No, you did tonight, and he fucking shoved it down your throat, and he outplayed the best goalie in the playoffs. And in turn now, we are now not going to see a goalie like Igor Shesterkin for the rest of these playoffs.
Yep.
And that bodes very well for this quick, offensive, dynamic Devil team.
Schmid the kid.
Schmid happens.
Yeah.
That was the back of the New York Post after game 3. Yeah. But my goodness.
He Schmidted all over us. That's going to be the next headline for tomorrow morning.
Man, I mean, they got their asses whooped in the first 2 games, and this team came back 3 in a row. Had a little slip up at MSG, but just locked it the hell down, and an amazing performance all around. It was just
so huge.
I can't be any happier. So let's go around the horn, man. I want to hear what everybody thinks. Give me your, just your whatever you. I can't even. I don't even have anything to say. I'm like completely just dumbfounded.
It's
by
crazy.
This whole performance. But Dan, go ahead, man.
I think we said last show that I felt it was like a weighted coin flip. You never know which way it's going to go. And during the first period where they were doing so many things right, and then you saw the penalty trouble they were getting in, you saw some questionable calls, and you thought about the previous game, how that bit them in the ass, and that the Rangers power play was going to strike if they kept giving them chances like this. You had every reason to be nervous, despite the fact that 5-on-5 in the first, they totally outplayed the Rangers. You said, it doesn't matter if we're going to go down a power play goal. And it looked like that was going to be inevitable the way they were going. But they came back in the second. They tightened things up a lot. They stopped taking stupid penalties for the most part. And they overcame...
Take any in the second and third.
That's right. And they overcame not only the Rangers, but maybe if there was a ref bias, which I bet you a lot of Devils fans felt there might have been in the first. It didn't matter. They overcame it. It was so awesome to see them just keep plugging away, not give up, not get disheartened, and play their game. They controlled that whole game. It was a real dominating effort. It's one of those games where the first goal was huge, and they didn't have to win just because they scored their first goal, right? They lost 2 games in which they scored the first goal in the series, but they did. They followed it up with a consistent effort all the way through. It was such an amazing win, like you said, top to bottom, no weak spots. It was amazing.
Bobby.
Again, I'm kind of at a loss of words. I mean, it was surgical in some ways. I saw the penalty trouble. I got a little nervous, and then I turned to Johnny PA, who was here, And I said, listen,
Nice.
I'm like, what's your feeling here? Are you feeling more confident as this goes on, low scoring, or are you getting more nervous that it's only one goal away from them tying it? He was a little more nervous, I think, that one goal wasn't enough. And I referenced the game 5 or game 3 where I was oddly calm. The game we won in overtime.
Yep.
Not that I felt calm this time, but there was something about this game that you saw unfolding in the Devils' way, and we were chatting a little bit together, right? I mean, 5-on-5. If we literally learned not to take penalties in this series, I think we're celebrating game 4. You know what I mean? Like, that's how much better we were 5-on-5, and I just
No contest there.
so proud of what they did, how they did it. I don't know if I should talk about the series or just the game because I'm just really excited at this point.
Sure.
You talk about whatever you want. This is a judgment-free platform tonight, Bobby. Go nuts.
Fantastic. It helps that we're all Devils fans too. And to come back from 2-0, we know that. We've been through that, and win 2 at the Garden. Game 6, you could have went either way. I just felt the emotions got the better of that game and the power plays again, and it started with that lucky first power play goal that was literally
Shin
going
pad,
3-4 feet wide.
Yep.
If you look at the series now that we're done with it, and if you get past the scores of the 3 seemingly lopsided games, and you really dissect it, we own the series more. The
Definitely.
2 shutouts of 4-0 were greater in capacity than the 3-5-1/2 games. They just really proved a lot tonight, and now they have like an open field to do what they want.
Did we lose a game without the power play being a factor? I don't think
No.
so. 5-on-5, we won the whole series in a sweep.
And look, if you look at all the teams remaining, which we're going to get to, because we're going to reseed our brackets and do everything, go into the second round. But if you look at the teams remaining, there's maybe Toronto can skate with us, but I don't think there's any team in the East that can skate with us.
Not with that speed. No.
Not 5-on-5. I mean, this was the Devil team we've seen all year, except they actually have gotten better. It's an 82-game season. It's a long season. Guys are going to lapse and shit. But when it came time to lock it down at the most important time, man, they came through with flying colors. And I'm
Huge.
telling you, this series win is going to strap a rocket to these guys' back. I don't want to say that they're going to, blow through Carolina, but I am definitely favoring the Devils to win that series. But, Tone, please.
First of all, it's a huge game for the franchise, right? This whole series was a huge game for the franchise moving forward. If you really think about this, we all know the Henrique goal, these things. I mean, how much? I don't know about you guys, but I'm so tired of hearing about 94. 92. It's like even tonight before the game, I saw it on the screen. Of course, they're showing it. I'm like, man, I'm so tired of hearing about that. And we've talked about it like constantly. We've won 3 cups since '94 until they're won. We still don't get that respect. But you know what? Fuck you, Ranger fans.
Exactly.
I mean, and you would say the same thing to us, but you know what?
Oh, they're sucking the big one tonight.
I heard
And
so much talk about how Akira, they figured him out. This was it.
Yeah.
It was it. He was done.
Didn't it look like they wanted to shoot glove a lot on him tonight, right? They wanted to go glove, and he's like, "Oh, this glove," and he robbed them with his glove constantly. They got a couple sneakers past his ear, real high shots last game, so they're like, "Oh, it's glove," and I was like, you know what, those plays, I don't think you could judge the glove on that. Tonight, you saw his glove. It was awesome.
Four or
It was
five
awesome.
amazing, ridiculous glove saves,
Oh,
and he did
incredible.
it. He did it even in every other win. I mean, he came through with a huge glove.
Even the low ball.
Andre
glove saves, like a
Polak's play I
shortstop.
loved. I mean,
Yeah, just to scoop him up and
Scoop it
freeze
off
it.
the ice,
That's huge.
yeah.
Instead of getting a rebound out there. Yeah.
He was so composed tonight that, and he did. He reminded me of Brodeur in those big games. He was composed when the team got a little wonky. He settled them down.
Yes, he did.
He did everything that you had to do he played like a 5-year veteran that's been there, done that. And the team played great in front of him. But you know what? The Rangers, without Akira Schmid tonight, the Rangers aren't shut out. He robbed them blind for at least a good half a dozen saves that were just more remarkable than what Igor was doing on the other side.
And Shesterkin's great and all, but I don't know if he stops every shot that Schmid did tonight. I don't know that he does, because he's made some amazing saves, and Igor was fantastic as usual. You don't really blame the goals on him, but he was also human. There's a couple I'm sure that he would like another look at, but he's never going to get it. And, the Schmid was incredible. What a rise to the occasion from this rookie. It's amazing.
I was really impressed with Palat tonight too.
Absolutely.
Mike
Hell of
McLeod,
a
that
game.
goal. I mean, this is like we were talking. This is a goal we're going to remember
Yes.
7, 8 year, 10 years from now. But Palat, I've seen, and I think we've seen it the last 3 or 4 games. This is, he's a man, like he's focused out there,
Yeah, and when that first goal and the play that he made by just on those boards against 2 Rangers and just not giving up, and I mean he just outworked them. The whole team outworked the Rangers tonight.
Absolutely.
And this is a Ranger team that went out and got Tarasenko and Kane at the trade deadline, and they put all their chips in the middle of the table. These guys went all in. It was Stanley Cup or bust. And now you just got bounced in the first round.
It's bust.
Your team is old. You're going to have a lot of guys. You gave up tons of draft capital to bring in Tarasenko. You gave up a first rounder for him, and over the course of the last couple of years, Drury has given up most of their draft capital for players.
Yep.
And they're in a position now that is just doesn't look good. And
No.
I couldn't be happy.
I think guys like Shesterkin and Kreider are going to be looking for the exit. And how can I get on a better team? Because this team's going to collapse in front of me. We'll see.
Igor Shesterkin, I mean, the man is a phenomenal goalie, and he deserves a Stanley Cup. He deserves a shot at it. He really does. Just not with the Rangers.
Yeah.
But he
team.
really does. He's a hell of a goalie, and Chris Kreider's an amazing player. I mean, smart player. But they're big guns. It's the games that mattered. Their big guns were invisible.
Panarin, who?
Exactly. Panarin was invisible this whole series.
His advantage
And-
came on strong last game, but, he was pretty absent most games.
Yeah, exactly. Kane really didn't do a whole lot.
He added a garbage goal and maybe at the end of a game they already won here and there.
Beauty, but yeah, that was about it. Right.
Yeah, and it was like, the 5th goal, where the game was already won.
Trouba plays his ass off. I
Sure.
mean, this guy is really a tough
Did
dude.
a Scott Stevens impression tonight.
What a hit on Timo Meyer.
It's a good hit.
I mean, I
I love Timo. I'm glad he's okay.
Beautiful hit. And, Devil fans, if you're sitting here and you're screaming that was a dirty hit, it wasn't a dirty hit.
No.
It wasn't at all a dirty hit.
I
And
did
if
appreciate
that
that
was a dirty
Danico
hit-
said it wasn't as well.
Yes. And think about it. If that was a dirty hit, then every time Scott Stevens knocked somebody unconscious in the middle of the fucking ice was a dirty hit. Because
Right.
it was all shoulder.
Yeah.
It was clean. Meyer had his head down, middle of the ice. Shit happens. It's hockey.
Nice to see him come back though, wasn't it? On the bench.
Absolutely.
It really was.
Absolutely.
Did
It's
something
nice
Lindros never did.
Yeah.
It's nice that the NHL doesn't give a shit about brain injuries like the NFL. Because if
That's
that
right.
was the NFL,
Right.
you're not seeing Timo Meyer till
You're in a
October.
tent for 6 weeks.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, just this whole first round, it was fantastic. We had 3 Game 7s. We had Boston getting upset by Florida.
Yeah. Wild first round.
What a crazy.
Yeah, it was wild. Edmonton coming through in the first Game 7, or was that Game 6? I don't. Did they go
6,
7?
right?
They,
6?
They went 6.
Kraken advancing. I mean, a second year
Seattle
existence.
going into Colorado.
And that Kraken's that's the hugest upset, and it's kind of it would have been without the Boston. I mean, these are
Right.
the champs from last year. The Avs are bumped off by the up-and-comer second season Kraken. That's an incredible story, but with Boston's collapse, you kind of hardly saw it out there.
You can look at the Colorado, and they've battled. They had a lot of guys out. They had injuries galore. They just weren't the same team going into these playoffs. That you can't just ride Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon.
Right.
And,
He was
Rantanen.
out for a
And
game or
that's-
2, suspension, I think.
He got suspended
Yeah.
for that hit on McCann, and then Rantanen and McKinnon are your only 2 guys that showed up. I mean, I think they had the stats that between Rantanen and McKinnon and Makar, like, I don't know, 7 or 9 goals, and everyone else chipped in for like 3. Like, that's unacceptable. You're not going anywhere. If they had a lot of injuries, they lost a lot of depth. But they also played a team that had like 14 different scorers in this round. Like, they're a deep Seattle team.
Yeah.
And if Dallas really takes them lightly, they're going to upset Dallas too.
Yes.
But yeah, amazing series all around, and but none better than this.
Ugh.
None better than
Definitely.
finally a Game 7 in our building
Yep.
against them, and we shut them the fuck up.
Battle of
I
the
have to-
Hudson is won.
I have to
Yes,
bring
it
this
is.
back around to a comment Tony just made, because I don't think a lot of people fully understand it. Now, granted, we're probably not going to have many listeners outside of Devils fans, maybe some in the local area, certainly not NHL wide. I don't think there's really an appreciation for what we go through. Tony said this is a huge win for our franchise. And
Right.
for everyone else out there, I'd like them to know the franchise is 40 years old. We
Right.
are still fighting that battle against the Rangers for whatever, bragging rights, supremacy, whatever you want to call it, despite the fact that we've been the better team for the better part of the last 25 years.
Yep.
It never seems to end. So, yeah, this was more than a hockey game. It was more than a hockey series.
You're right.
Devils fans wanted this so bad. The players wanted it so bad. The players we have now, I mentioned Jack Hughes a couple times, but there's a few of them that I truly feel embrace what it means to be a Devil, to hate the Rangers. You talk to Marty Brodeur, Scott Stevens, they hated them.
Yep.
It wasn't just another game. It really wasn't. And so this was very important, and it's a huge step.
And Tone, I know you want to say something, and let me just say something off to Bobby's point real quick. Ken Danico, Mark Messier, very good friends.
Right.
They grew up together. They played hockey together their whole lives. When Messier got traded to Edmonton, from Edmonton to New York, they didn't talk.
That's right.
They wouldn't even talk to each other. That's how much they hated each other. Look, we're friends, and I love you, and I'll be there for you. But when hockey season starts, don't call me. Don't stop by my house. I don't want to hear nothing. We're not friends, and that's just how big this rivalry is. It goes to say that, that is how
Absolutely.
big it is. Tone.
No, and I did say game 7. I knew there was going to go 7 games this series, and I was for some reason I was confident we were going to win this game. And like we were saying earlier, they came out. I mean, tonight it was we dominated the whole game. I mean, there was, besides those penalties in the beginning that kind of, at first I was like, oh, we're not gonna screw ourselves, when the
Right.
ball
Well, we
penalty
killed
was-
them. Yep.
Yeah. But think about Ball too. Ball's now played in a game 7 against the Rangers in the playoffs. This guy we're gonna see this dude for years.
Yes. He's
but-
emerged. What a solid player, right?
Eric Halla, man, again. I mean, is this guy not involved in every big win we have?
Look, the guys that we brought in, the difference between our team and the Rangers, the guys we brought in, the veteran guys we brought in, they showed up, and they brought the young guys with them. And the Rangers did that last year. The Rangers had that run last year. They had a younger team, and they were able to kind of incorporate those guys. The veterans brought them along, and they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And that's what happened this year with us. I mean, Hala and especially Palat, this last game, this was Palat's, coming out party. This was, all right, I'm a Devil now. You all, okay, I was injured a lot of the year. It was kind of struggled when I got back in the lineup. Really wasn't making my presence felt. Tonight he made his presence felt.
I think
Without
he's
He's a
Andre
later
Palat,
rival, but Tatar, let's put him in the same boat. Tatar,
Absolutely.
a huge
He's
goal.
been big
So,
goals.
that second goal is huge.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing that you can say that's bad about this team tonight, the way that they played. And I did have major reservations about them coming in because I just don't like Game 7s. It's that simple. I mean, I love watching them when it's not the Devils, but, it's that a puck off Kreider's leg. It's a bullshit call. It's something goes your way.
Some
and-
little bounce.
But the mental fortitude of this team, they don't let anything get in their head. We've seen it all year. They don't get rattled. And, okay, we took a couple of penalties. Maybe some of them were bullshit. Maybe a weaker team, maybe a lesser team, maybe a more inexperienced team lets that get in their heads. and
Yeah,
they
you
play a
saw
little
Jack
tighter.
jawing about the non-call.
Yeah.
And I was a little concerned because, we need Jack to always be at his best. And, you don't see him complain to the refs very often. It's very rare. And you could see him clearly go, wait, that was a hook, or that's a fucking hook, or whatever he was trying to say.
Fucking hook is what he said.
Exactly. And, I was like, oh, shit. Is it going to be one of those games when even your
Right.
top guys are frustrated by the bad calls, but they
Yes,
pulled it
was.
together?
It totally
Right.
was one
But
of
they
those
didn't let
games
him. They didn't let it get him
where
down.
Where the Rangers' top guys were frustrated, not by the calls, but by us.
Exactly.
It's just our gameplay.
Exactly.
I was surprised but that stick to the face with Brad, I was surprised they didn't call that. And I saw a video where the guy,
Definitely.
the official was looking right at it. He actually
Solid
Yes.
5 seconds of sticking the helmet. Yeah.
I mean,
They didn't call it because we were already on the power play, and it's just bullshit.
After we got the 2-goal lead, it seems like they stopped, bagging for the Rangers. It's very interesting. They're like, okay, we tried, it's over. That's what it felt like. It felt very coordinated.
we gave you your break, buddy. You
Yeah,
capitalized.
yeah.
Now you're on your own.
Yeah, now we're just going to call a normal game.
Yeah.
the NHL must be disappointed the Devils have advanced.
Well, I'll tell you, the NHL is definitely disappointed that Boston's out. That's for
Yeah.
sure. And yeah, they probably are.
They
I
wanted
mean,
the
look,
Rangers
they're
in
looking
there.
at big markets. I mean, you look at who's left, right? They don't want to see, I don't know, Dallas, New Jersey series or Edmonton, New Jersey series. They don't want to see that. They
2000
want,
ended pretty well.
What was that?
2000 ended pretty well.
Yeah,
I know they
yeah,
don't want to see
maybe.
it. Just
But,
to enhance
they-
your point, Chris, real quick, because I
Yes.
know we're going to probably move on to other things that happen here. Regarding the people that we brought in, the players that we brought in,
Yeah.
I will argue that to me it's really close between Schmidt and Haula as far as series MVP. That's how valuable I think Haula was. Obviously,
Right.
his
Tough call.
production.
Absolutely.
And then, I mean, the play of the series to me, and Tony brought this up, that keep in by Palat in this game 7, that might literally be the play of the series. So those two guys, right? And I've shit on Palat, not because I don't love him, because I'm like, I don't know, $6 million a year. Like, how's that going to translate over the next few years? And I knew he was a playoff guy. But in this moment, for everything this team needed, like, that is exactly what this guy can bring. So, I mean, those two.
So which
Just
is
phenomenal.
it? What's your playoff MVP? Because that's a great question.
I'm going to actually go with Haula. I know Schmidt played out of his mind, and what he did is stuff of legend, right? 2 shutouts, including the Game 7 shutout. I get that, but Haula as more of a role player to do what he did, more timely, I think. I don't know. I'll just go with Haula, but I could go Schmidt either way.
What about you, Dan?
That is a tough call. I have not given it a lot of thought. I really haven't. And as I look at it, I can't argue with what Bobby said. It's great. I think also, like, it's easy to overlook the impact of somebody like Jack Hughes. And it's like, he's huge in that series. He drew so much Ranger attention. He's got to be in the conversation for series MVP, and just like he is in every game. But yeah, you're right. Like, you get past like what Schmidt has done, it's incredible. Look,
Jack is
he was
also in the
great.
running for best gymnastic MVP with some
Oh
of
my
his
God.
self-inflicted flip moves today.
Yeah, he was all over
I
the
don't know what
place.
that was.
I don't know. If I had to pick, I'm gonna go with Schmid because it's maybe a multiplayer tie,
Yes.
and the goalie bias tells me, Schmid has done something incredible, emerged as the true number one here. Yeah, you know what? Second round, it could all go south, but look at this guy. Can you see it going south on Schmid? I honestly can't right now. He's just been amazing. So I got to make him the MVP.
How about you, Tone?
I go with
Series
Schmidt.
MVP?
I think it's Schmidt. I mean, I don't see how they don't give him that. So I mean,
I got to figure out all his numbers over the series. What was his goals against average? What was his save percentage? It's got to be
It was a
pretty off the
1-7
charts with those
something
shutouts.
coming in.
Yeah,
1-7
it's
something come in, so that's gone down to a 1-6 something.
I think it was a
probably,
176,
1-5.
and Shesterkin was a 179. He had him beat.
he's like,
Yeah,
he's a,
close.
let me see here.
The
Yeah.
save percentage has got to be pretty high too. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 9-5 or something.
I would go with Schmidt for the series MVP. What he did, everything from back against the wall, game 3, you lose that game, series is over, and
Right.
he plays fantastic, gives us a chance to win at the end. Games 4, played fantastic again. The team played great in front of him in game 4. It was another close game. Kept him in it. Game 5, he was fucking dominant. He was fantastic. 4-0 shutout. Had a little rough patch on game 6, but the bottom line is with this team, you can say with the goalies, whether it's Vanacek or Schmid, they go as the team goes. When you play like shit in front of any goalie, I don't care. You're gonna get scored on.
Well, Shesterkin's great, and he lost. So
Yeah, and so I gotta go. And then he comes in today, game 7, 23-year-old kid playing in USHL 2 years ago, and the kid comes in and he pitches his second shutout in the series. I gotta go with Schmidt, and I think
Yeah,
you just
huge bounce back.
You keep riding him. You keep riding him. You
Oh,
put him in game 1
yeah,
Wednesday
I mean,
night.
you have to. You have to.
As much as I love Vanacek, it's a great card to keep in your pocket if you need it.
Definitely.
Let's hope we don't.
Can't argue.
But yeah,
We got
I
a
mean,
better backup now than we thought we did, and
Yeah.
by that I
We
mean
got
if,
number one as a backup.
right,
Yeah, that's good.
exactly, because Schmid's emerged as like a number one that nobody could even think he was that far ahead in his career, and now we got Vanacek as a backup. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what has happened in this series, and that's what you're gonna have to ride, I'm sure.
And before we jump on to something else, and I just kind of put a little bow on this game, I think we have to talk about Lindy Ruff and the amazing job he did coaching this team in this first round.
Yeah.
And look, you said you gave Pilat a lot of shit. Nobody gave Lindy more shit than me.
Yeah, I was close second.
Yeah, Dan was right there. We just some of his questionable things throughout the season, but when it comes to this playoff. First of all, having the balls to put Schmidt back in there, because I think that a lot of people were calling for V to go in. I thought they were going to put V in.
Especially with the way they pulled him in the last game when it clearly wasn't his fault. Looking back on it now, it's like, no, let's not leave him out there to get shelled. Right. Let's protect him kind of move. At the time, I thought maybe it was like, because I never felt like the Devils, accurately valued who was in net, especially the way they brought Blackwood in all the time. So I wasn't sure. I thought they were like, okay, you fucked up, Schmid. Now Vanacek's in.
Right.
So who knew which way they were going to go in this game?
To have the confidence to go with him again after Game 5 performance and the way the team played in front of him. And then taking Lazar out, who scored one of the only goals.
I still don't understand this. Even though they won. I don't understand it.
I heard Sal was saying that there's a good chance he's battling through some kind of injury, so maybe that was what it was.
Okay.
But you put Wood in, who was a fucking spaz the first two games, basically, cost you penalties, took stupid offensive zone penalties, just was, completely a wrecking ball for, the Devils. It just, he completely shipwrecked every time he was on the ice. So he gets benched for 3 games. They put him back in. They put Igor Sharangovich.
Yeah.
And who hadn't played at all this series.
I was shocked to see him come back, even more than Wood for some reason. I was like, okay, Wood, he's got Sharangovich. His last performance was flat, and I was shocked that they put him back in. But tonight he played, I thought, the best game I've seen him play in a long time.
He was really good on the penalty kills in the first 3 periods. And again, Wood played within himself. He didn't get, into any kind of penalty trouble, didn't try to do too much. And that was all we needed from him tonight. So I think Lindy Ruff having the faith in his team and to putting these guys in that were ice cold, sitting this whole series, and it worked out. And then the stars showed up. The clutch guy showed up. Michael McLeod. Can't say much about him. Best face-off guy left in the playoffs.
Awesome.
Hands down, best face-off man left in the playoffs.
So valuable now.
Love watching him take those face-offs. He's like a maniac with that. His trigger is just ready to go.
And then you get him chipping in goals. That's gravy.
Yeah,
and
huge.
Man, just Lindy Ruff, this coaching staff did an amazing job this entire series with just keeping everything tempered and having these guys playing with a level head, coming into Game 7 where they did not look like this moment was too big for them. They looked like it in Game 1, but they did not look like it in Game 7. Anybody else want to talk a little bit about this game before we go on? Because, hey, unlike the Rangers, we're still playing hockey.
We have to look forward. We can't just look back.
Look forward. So
some teams can only look back.
Right. So to the Rangers.
Sucks to be them.
Yeah, been there, done that. Bye. Off to Carolina.
All right.
Hurricanes won their series against the Islanders in 6 games. It was an extremely low-scoring game.
Not too hard for them.
Carolina has a lot of injuries right now. They are up in the air with goaltending between Ronta and Freddie Anderson. And I think that, they are an extremely good team, but I think when it comes to how we skate, how we play, I don't know if they can skate with us. I really don't. I'm going that the Devils are going to win that series, and we'll talk about it more, but I'll just throw that one out there. I'm taking the Devils in 6. They're going to go on to the Eastern Conference Finals, and if they play this way, man, they're going to go even further than that. So, guys, thoughts on Carolina?
Devils in 6.
Well, just, you have any, what do you think of Carolina?
Carolina's a good team, but I think we're better. I think Carolina is. I think the Rangers are going to be a tougher. What do I know? I guess when it comes down to playoffs, because anything could happen.
Well, you're the only one who called Devils in 7. Yeah. So congrats on that. We all had them earlier.
We were talking earlier too. I was confident they were going to win tonight. Of course, I was nervous. How do you not be like, it's Game 7. I didn't sit down one time, but I think that Devils are a better team than Carolina. I think we're definitely. I don't know if they can keep up with us. And if Schmid plays like this with Vanchek on the backside, or I think that we're just a better team. I really do.
Bobby?
Yeah, I'm going to call back to earlier in the podcast where I think, Chris, it was probably you that brought it up, or maybe all of us in general, about what kind of springboard this could be, beating the Rangers. It's not beating some other team. It really isn't. I know a lot of people won't understand that, but it's something greater. If I look back honestly at how we match up with Carolina, and they were a great team, and they obviously beat us by 1 point, the team that started the playoffs for the Devils is not the same team anymore.
Very true.
This team grew up very quick.
It really did.
Faced tremendous adversity being down 0-2 from home. Despite everything else, you lose game 6. All the media attention, it just could have went anyway. And we've already dissected today's game and how surgical they beat the Rangers. So I honestly have really no doubt in my mind that they're not going to beat the Hurricanes. I'm just struggling to decide if it's in 5 or 6 because I don't want to be overly cocky, but I just think that what they learned from this is just invaluable. But I'm going to stick with a theme that I've said a few times in that, again, I don't think to this stage that the Devils will lose more than twice to a particular team as they learn from them. So for that reason, I'll go with 6.
Okay. Tony, you to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you guys notice, I mean, not to go off the topic of this game coming up, but have you noticed how silent the Ranger fans have been? I have a few that I know who I have not heard from yet tonight.
I didn't hear from them tonight. It's amazing.
Well,
I didn't hear from them.
They're crying.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? They're crying. What are they going to say?
Speaking of crying, bring that back up again later.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it is, and we gotta, maybe we have some time in between. But we gotta dedicate a show just to the Ranger fans in our area. Just give them a few days to process what they're feeling, how quickly they put their jerseys away. Just to document here in Jersey where we're suffering Ranger fans who wake up and think, they got it. It's the Devils. We're gonna win. I can't wait to see them just disappear as we enjoy the second round.
Oh, I can't wait to put XM on tomorrow and listening to, Cooley and all these guys who, were going on about how much better the Rangers are and the Devil this and that. I can't wait till tomorrow to listen to, them, I don't know, just make excuses. Most likely, I think you got to give the Devils credit, just straight up. They were the better team. But then Carolina.
Yeah, so Carolina is a good team. They've always managed to stay ahead of us. But I feel like we always had a little quiet confidence with them in the regular season. But Bobby made a great point. This isn't the team they even played. The Devils have grown up fast. They learned how to play a very tough team defense that they have not really shown much in the regular season. And that is huge. That was my biggest question mark with them. You take that away and you say, can this team still score clutch goals? And the answer against the Rangers is yes. They are a scary team. So I really don't see the Devils losing to Carolina as much as I respect Carolina. They've done a great job staying in the top of the division all year, and they put to bed their opponents, so you got to give them respect. But, I think it'd be too disrespectful to go game 5, Devils winning 5 rather, but I have to go with 6, not just because of that, but because I want to ride on Tony's bandwagon here because he picked the Devils in 7, where I think I picked them in 5. So
me too.
I'm gonna say I'm just gonna tag team off Tony there, try to get a little of his leftovers in this point race because we need to also, by the way, conclude at least at some point tonight by announcing of the 5 of us, the 4 Uncle Puckers and guest star. Who is in the lead when it comes to this? And I can't wait to get to it. But you want to talk about Carolina too, right?
Well, no, I mean, let's.
You already picked 6, right? You done with that?
Let's go to this
Sure.
because we all picked our first round series
Right.
On this show, and you can go back and listen to that if you want.
Now we're doing a point system, right?
We're doing a point system.
Okay, how's that work?
Okay. So if you guessed the series correct, it's 1 point. If you guessed the series correct in the amount of games, you get 2 points.
Not 2 additional points, 2 points total.
Just 2 points.
Gotcha.
So you can only get 1 point or 2 points.
Gotcha.
So
Or 0 points.
Tony picked the Devils in 7.
Mm-hmm.
He gets 2 points. We all picked them in Bobby 6, Dan and I 5. We each get 1 point.
Gotcha.
So I'm in last place. I have 5 points.
Okay.
Tony and Bobby have 6 points. Dan has 7 points.
All right.
And
Wait, we gotta
Katie-
stop
no.
right. Wait, hold on. I
Okay.
think we
Dan
just
and
stopped
Bobby
right.
have 6. Tony has 7. Or wait.
No,
Tony
no,
got
no.
the 2
Points,
points, right?
points, Bobby, points. I have 5 points.
Okay.
Tony and you have 6 points.
Full rounds. Other teams.
Full rounds.
Right.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
entire
Counting.
first round.
Let's be clear with that. This is every first round matchup,
Every first
East
round matchup.
and West. You
Yes.
get a point for calling the winner, and you get an additional point for calling the number of games of the series. And in that race, I think I've won, so we're done. It's a good show, guys, and I appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time.
If there was, first of all, only one round in this hockey playoff.
That's true. There are
and-
3 more
and
rounds.
2
Yeah.
if there wasn't another person.
Okay, I
because
forgot about the guest player.
the guest player, Caden,
Uh,
Pennsylvania,
Caden, Pennsylvania.
got 9 points.
9 points. 9 points. This kid
9
kills it with 9
points.
points. Better than the corgi. Which, by
Better
the
than
way,
the fucking
if you don't
corgi.
know the NHL corgi, I want you to guys go to check out NHL media stuff and see the corgi. And I will tell you, fuck you to the corgi because he picked the Rangers, and then when he picked, Boston going down, I started getting legitimately scared.
Yeah.
He picked everything right except for us.
That's
so,
right.
but you know
And-
what? We have something better than the corgi here on Uncle Puckers. It's that guest player, Caden.
Let me
How many
write this
points?
down again. So Caden's in the
So-
lead with 9.
He's in the lead.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if we start off now, we go to the West, right? And that was the Vegas versus Winnipeg series. That Vegas won in 5 games. Tony picked Vegas in 6. Dan took the Jets in 7. Bobby took the Jets in 6. I took Vegas in 6. Caden took Vegas in 5.
Now, so
He
for
won
any
2
for
points
any
on
new
that.
listeners, because I don't know if we said this tonight, the guest player, Caden, Pennsylvania, is how old?
He just turned 9.
He just turned 9. So our collective ages are close to 200 years, gentlemen, and we lost to somebody who has less than 5% of that time on this earth, proving we know nothing.
Yes.
And I have to say, I think that Caden, I'm looking real quick. He only didn't get points in 2 series. He didn't get points. He took the Maple Leafs in 7, and he took the Bruins in 4, and those are the only 2 that he didn't get points in. He got 2. He took the Devils in
Which
7.
everybody
he got 2
lost points to
He
the
should've got
Bruins.
Leafs.
Everybody.
He got 1 point for the Leafs. He picked the Leafs. Right?
The Leafs lost. I mean, the Leafs. No, he didn't pick the Leafs, did he?
I didn't. No, he took the.
Oh, he
he
took
did
Tampa
take the
Bay.
Leafs. I screwed up.
So wait, he only
Oh my
lost
God, he
one
got
series.
11
He's got
points.
10
Wait, he got even more?
You say 1 in 7.
Oh my God.
So he
Good going,
got
Dan.
11.
So he has
points.
11
Oh,
points.
man.
He's
Oh
got
my God.
almost double the median score, which is 6, which is you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
He got more than double his Uncle Chris there, and he's destroying us, and he's 9 years old, proving that when you get older, you just get dumber.
Caden is the hockey whisperer. What a first round for Caden, Pennsylvania. Give it up, guys. for
All right, Caden.
All right.
Great
I
job,
think we got to
Caden.
listen to him do his own picks for the next round at some point.
If you can
Yeah,
Maybe
I
even
wanna do
record it or something. Just record it or something,
not
maybe.
rigged.
record the audio and play it, that'd
So-
be good.
Because
I
that'd be
can-
hilarious.
So I
would
can
love it.
reiterate this to him tomorrow morning, as well as the good news of the Devils'
Yes.
domination of the Rangers. It's
Yes.
Caden 11, and what are the final 4 again?
Okay, Dan
7
has 7.
for me.
Oh,
I'm
wow,
on his
that's a-
heels.
that's a
I'm coming
big
after
kill.
him. I'm coming after that kid.
It's going to be really hard because there's just not that many games.
I know.
Okay.
We're gonna
you
get-
and Tony have 6, and I have 5.
Oh my goodness.
So now we're going to
He's got almost double your points. Almost double your
So-
points, Bob.
Yeah.
There are 8 teams left and 8 teams gone, and we are going on to the second round. Let's start with the West.
Oh my
we
goodness.
have Edmonton versus the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Edmonton, who knocked off the Los Angeles Kings in 6 or 7. I keep forgetting that one. I don't know. Was that 6?
I think that was
Yeah,
6.
that was 6. So Edmonton, Las Vegas. Las Vegas, who just ran roughshod over Winnipeg in 5. They've been off for like a month and a half now.
Yeah.
So we'll go around the horn with the Edmonton-Vegas game. Just if you want to throw a quick thought, give us who you think's going to win. We'll start. We'll go Tony, Bob, Dan, myself. Tony, Edmonton, Las Vegas, go.
Oilers in 7.
That's all you got for me?
Yep, that's all I got for you. I think they're just
Okay.
it's gonna be a tough series, and I just I'm pretty impressed with Edmonton right now. So
Bob?
that's my pick.
A lot of rest for Vegas. I know they're not purely defensive, but I want to go with the whole offense versus defense because anytime you're talking about the Oilers, to me, you're talking about the premium offense. God, I wasn't prepared to answer this question, to be honest. But yeah, Oilers in 7 as well for me.
Oilers in 7 for Bob. And you can come either, if you want, you can text me, or before we start the next show or whatever, you can give me Caden's picks.
I'll try to
I know
record him.
he's,
That'd be good.
I know he's sleeping.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to play him. So, Dan?
Okay, I want to be the Oilers spoiler, and I want to go with Vegas. I would love to see a conference final of 2 expansion teams. That would be
Vegas,
fantastic.
Seattle.
So I'm
Okay.
taking Vegas. I'm taking Vegas in 6, and you know, we'll see what plays out. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure of this pick by any means, but that's what I want to see. So I'm just going to go with my gut right now.
Now, I had the Oilers going to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. You're gonna stick with that?
But Vegas looked so good in that series against Winnipeg.
Yeah.
That, and now with Mark Stone back, and you know he's playing on a different level. I'm gonna go Oilers in 7 just to keep the Oilers moving forward. So I'm taking the Oilers in 7. I say that with absolutely no confidence because I think that Vegas is a unbelievably good team. And then so we're going to move over to the second series in the West, and that's Stars Kraken. And Tone, we'll go with you. Kraken upsets the Stanley Cup champions last night in their building, knocking Colorado off in 7. And then you got the Dallas Stars, who took 6 games, but they did pretty much dominate the Minnesota Wild in that first round. Jake Ottinger played amazing in that series. I think that's going to be a hell of a series. Stars Kraken, Tone.
Yeah, I'm going to go Kraken in 6, actually. And it's funny because I didn't pick the Kraken to get out of the first series, but I'm really impressed with their play.
That's why we reseed, my friend.
Dallas is tough, but
You
I'm
said
going to go with
6?
the Kraken. Yeah, I'm going 6 with the Kraken.
Okay. All right, Dan.
I'm gonna go the Kraken. I'm gonna take them in 7. Again, it's a little bit of my gut because I told you already. I want those new franchises coming out of the West. You know, like the West is in disarray. Let's not kid ourselves. And so this is the kind of year for that crazy shit to happen. I really hope it does. Dallas is a good team, so there's no way the Kraken are gonna do this in some kind of sweep or 5 games. I'm just gonna stick consistent and stay with Kraken at 7.
Okay, Bobby, we're at the Stars Kraken. What do you got?
Yeah, I have the Stars going further. So I still like the way they're playing. I'm very impressed with the Kraken, but I'm going to go with the Stars to pull this out in 6.
I love Seattle, and I really am impressed with how they played that first round. I think that they are a very good team. They have a lot of good parts. I just think Dallas is a better all-around team, and I think their goaltending is better than Grubauer. I think Ottinger has played amazing. I'm going to go with the Stars, and I'm going to say that the little fairy tale for the Kraken comes to a screeching halt. Stars win it in 5.
Can I ask a question real quick?
That's
I had to jump
Of
out
course.
for 1 second. Chris, did you
Yes.
reseed a team that you had originally picked to go further? I'm not sure if we can do that. When I was
Yeah, you can.
okay,
Yeah,
So
reseeded,
you
you
had
could-
originally you had the Oilers going all the way to the finals, but based on the way
Yes.
they played, you have changed that.
Well, no, I still have the Oilers.
Oh, I
going.
missed it. That's what I'm saying. I missed that.
Yeah. I took the Oilers in 7.
I didn't even know we picked
Um,
winners all the way to the end. Did we do that?
Well,
Well,
we
we
kinda
never
did those on
discussed
our-
who we
we
thought
never-
would win.
Okay.
From
Some
our
of us
original
volunteered
brackets.
it. I got you. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of did it on our own. Maybe,
Gotcha.
Maybe next year when the playoffs start, we'll do it a different way. If this way is a little wonky and we kind of didn't.
No, I
make
think
it
we
kinda
it'd
fun
be
to do
cool
both.
to kind of have both
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
obviously, if I
exactly.
pick Team X to win the Stanley Cup and they lose in the first round, my bracket's busted.
Yeah.
So then
Right.
I reseed. But if I don't, I feel
But
like
you
I
know,
should
you should
keep
pay
my-
some kind of
my main
penalty.
team.
Like you have to wear something stupid, or you have to pay some kind of penalty for reseeding. That'd be great. We should do that going forward.
You know, the penalty for me should be you're just not a good Uncle Pucker and you can't do this anymore.
So it was out.
Your son may be
I'm
the winner
looking
at your
for
house,
my-
though, bro.
I
You can
have.
take over.
I know. We
Okay,
got to
so-
get him. We got to get him on the show.
I mean, I can get him on if we
Yeah,
ever
definitely.
do a non-post game. We're just doing a lot of post game shows now because
You know what?
playoffs.
It's playoffs. You can stay up late. School's not as important as you think it is. I have a kid going into college next year. I'm going to tell you, you can take a few nights to stay up and watch hockey.
All right.
So I had this is my original bracket. So I had the Canes and the Devils meeting in the next round. I had Tampa Bay and the Bruins meeting in the next round. Neither one of them are going. I had Vegas playing the Oilers, which we're getting, and I had the Wild playing Colorado, which we're not getting. So and then I had the Oilers playing the Wild in the Western Conference Finals. I had the Devils playing Boston in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
And then I had Boston, Edmonton Stanley Cup Final.
Ugh.
And Edmonton winning the cup. That was where I was at.
Gotcha.
So I had to, reseed because I only
Wow.
picked 5 correct.
Yeah, that's amazing, right? Like, what a
Yeah.
crazy playoffs this has been in the first
It
round.
really has. It really
Phenomenal.
has. So now we're over to the Eastern Conference, where I dropped my pen. So
Oh, hope you find it. It's in the East somewhere.
yeah. Talk to me, Goose.
Well,
Found it.
you don't need that pen anyway, is number one. Number two, in the East, we've got Florida, Toronto. And, I know what my gut says, what I want to win, but both teams need to be respected here. They've done something special for each of them. I don't know. I mean, what are you guys feeling?
Well, I'll tell you, I was one of those people that thought if Toronto somehow made it out of the first round, and I wasn't at the time when I made the pick. I wasn't taking Tampa Bay because Toronto made it out of the first round 19 years.
Some
I don't
kind
give
of
a fuck
jinx.
about that.
Yeah, exactly.
It was because Tampa Bay was Tampa Bay, and they were the 3-time Eastern Conference champions, and until they lose, they're the champs.
Mm-hmm.
So I went with them, and Tampa Bay and Toronto beat them. And Toronto, I think, has that weight off of their shoulders that they can
Proceed
kind
to
of
lose for 10 years in the second round.
In the second round. So
No,
but
maybe.
I think Toronto is a really good team. I think the pieces that they put in place were at the trade deadline have worked perfectly for them, and they finally got this monkey off their back. And I don't think that's going to be enough for the Maple Leafs. They want more. As far as Florida goes, like you said, they're playing with house money. They can. It doesn't matter what happens now. They weren't even supposed to be in the playoffs, and they sure as hell weren't. Maybe if they lost to Boston in 6, they can keep their head up. But nobody thought they were going to win in 7.
Yeah,
Nobody
but
thought
boy,
they were going to win.
they are
in
loving that underdog role, and
Yes.
the media and NHL is going to give them that again.
Yeah, and Bobrovsky now is playing like Bobrovsky,
Yes,
and that's dangerous because
he's amazing.
yeah, Florida right now has an arrogance about them. This the underdog role,
Yep.
and they're tough as nails.
Bobrovsky is the best Russian goalie in the playoffs still. Now that Vasilevsky's out.
Yeah. So that's going to be a really tough one. Tone, what do you think about that Maple Leaf Panther series?
I'm going to go with Florida. I'm going to go with Montour and Kachuk, and I think I'm going to pick them in 6.
Wow.
I've been impressed. I mean, they're such a weird team. They really, really believe they are much better. They believe they're much better than they may be. Actually, this team is not
They're
intimidated.
deluded.
Yeah, when they played Boston, you could just tell they were not intimidated.
Yeah, that counts for a lot. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kachuk's
sorry.
a great leader on that team. I think that he not only does he carry them to the playoffs so far. He 3 weeks before the season ended. I mean, he was just grinding that team into the playoffs, and I'm really impressed by them. And I think Toronto, I want to say Toronto's going to win, but something tells me Florida in 6.
All right, Bob.
Well, definitely, I had Toronto making it through. I felt very confident about that this year. Look at this series. It's not the prediction I originally had. On the surface, it's kind of tough to pick, and then all I keep thinking about is this
Yeah.
guy's phenomenal. He's got the Kachuk factor. I think Florida that's it for Toronto. They made it through one round, but let's just get rid of that now. We'll worry about more rounds later. So I'll take the Panthers, but they're going to be the battle-tested team that goes another 7.
And you think the Cats are going to take it
I
in
do.
7?
Yes.
All right. And Dan?
I have a hard time picking Toronto to win anything, so I'm kind of biased. I want them to lose. Toronto is the New York of Canada. Never forget that. And so I'm always against them, and I want them to lose. And that said, I know they're a much improved team. They're a good team. They got a lot of great pieces. So if the Panthers are going to win, it's going to be an uphill battle. I was back and forth between 6 and 7. And, just seeing Tony, who, seems like he's got this innate ability to pick 6 makes me want to go there, but I'm going to stick with my gut, which is more in line with Bobby, and pick the Cats in 7.
Wow. Okay. So everybody's taking the Cats.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Fuck. I hate Florida, the state, and I hate Florida, the team. So that in general, and it's not that I hate Toronto. Not that I like Toronto. I don't like Toronto, but I just think Toronto's the better team. I'm gonna go with Toronto. I got to make up some points on you guys anyway, so I have to go the opposite. You all took Florida, so I'm gonna take Toronto. I'm gonna take them in 6, and I think that the little fantasy ride that the Cats are on ends Game 6 in Toronto.
It's very plausible.
Actually,
Let me ask you about
in Florida.
Let me ask you about this. In Florida, they're banning anybody who's not a United States resident from buying tickets in the opening round. I saw this come across. I haven't verified this with 2 sources, so if it's bullshit I picked up on, I apologize. I meant to try to verify this, but should that thing be true, what's your feelings about that? That Florida's going to ban Canadians from buying tickets?
I think it's bullshit.
Yeah, I don't even know how the NHL can allow it.
Yeah, why? How could you allow anybody? If they come into the country legally, you're telling them that they're not allowed to go to Toronto, to Florida to play for a fucking game.
It's just about purchases. They're saying purchase. Yeah, well, they'll ban anything, true or not.
Yeah, but is this
matter.
coming from like DeSantis, or is this coming from someone else? I don't know who else could. Make
I think it's the organization. It's a Panthers organization.
So they're scumbags too. So now I really want Toronto to win, and I want the Toronto people to come all the way down to Florida and flood their fucking building.
Yeah, no, it seems I'm hitting it all over the place. I've since verified it in multiple sources. Panthers try keeping Toronto fans out by restricting ticket sales to U.S. residents only. That's the story I got in multiple sources, not just the one I saw come across. And
what do you think about that?
I think the NHL needs to step in. I can't believe they don't already have a rule for this. This is a multi-nation league, and you can't have. Think how pissed you would be. I think we all went to a game together in Montreal to watch the Devils win, and it was so much fun. This is something for the fans. There's no way you should ban people from other countries. What are we talking about?
So Austin Matthews' mom and dad can't go watch them play in Toronto? In Florida?
Not unless they're, a box guest or somebody who didn't need a ticket. That's bullshit.
The NHL needs to step in on
They
that.
do. I can't believe they
ridiculous thing. Coming from the Devils-Rangers rivalry, right, where our home arena is, 60-40, 70-30. We know more than anybody what it's like to be penetrated by the other team.
Nobody
but in my mind,
wants that
the
more
first thing you do, listen,
put some poor phrasing.
You give
choice
your
of words.
season ticket holders first chance to buy, and if they sit on their ass and the away team comes in and purchases those tickets, oh well, that's it.
You know what I hope? I hope that they're allowed to get away with it, and then I hope they're fucking half full because people in Florida don't show up to watch their fucking.
That's
Cats
true.
play.
I saw a lot
That's
of Canadians going, "Hey, wait a second, we kept that franchise afloat." Now they're probably overstating it, but a lot of Canadians do winter in Florida, and they're the ones at the fucking games, especially when the Panthers suck. You know what I mean? And even when they're good, what do the Floridians know about hockey? Let's be real. Tony, you know what I'm saying. 1 out of a billion.
I have to say, I come from where I live in Tampa and St. Pete. It's a whole different story. That team always
Tampa Bay is not Florida Panthers. It's not Sunrise. Tampa Bay is a fucking hockey city.
And they love hockey there.
Miami's a highlight city. They play highlight with passion. That's great. Shuffleboard and highlight.
Because Tampa, I'm always amazed. Even when the team's not good, they pack that bill. Those fans love their Lightning. That's pretty much,
But I hate the Cats. Something just walked by.
My wife was running from the background trying to be silent.
So she can hop on and say hi. All right, so we all agree that Florida is a shit box.
No, we do not all agree that Florida is a shit box.
It kind of is, though.
I love St. Pete, man. No.
Yeah, St. Pete's fun. It's fun.
Hurricanes
Florida's a lot of
versus
fun.
the Devils.
Still a shit box.
This is the series we care about. This series begins, I think, either 7 or 7:30 on Wednesday. So right after this game,
that's crazy.
The Devils are going to pop the champagne. They're going to hit the showers, and then they're going to jump on a plane, and they're going to head down to Carolina, where they're going to play old Crazy Eyes and the Hurricanes. And Rob Brindamore, who's a hell of a coach. And so, Tone, go. Devils.
Devils. I mean, I've definitely got the Devils. I'm gonna say 6. You know, I mean, I just think we're
Okay.
the better team.
All right, Bob.
Yeah, I thought we did this already. Yeah, I think that the Devils are going
I think we did do this.
How
already.
many?
to. We did do this.
Yeah,
said I
But
wanted
here's
to
the,
do
here's
five,
the,
but
this
I,
is how he
writing
tests
it
you.
out now.
He tests
Writing
you
it
to
out.
see if you remember what you picked.
I'll stick
Yeah.
with Devils in 6.
6. Dan, Danny, how many did you take?
Devils in 6.
All right, Dan. I'm gonna go. I said 6 earlier. Now I'm thinking about it. You know what? I still have to make up some
Trying to
points. And
make
you
a
guys,
point.
I'm taking Devils.
Devils
in
in
5.
3.
I'm taking Devils. I was gonna say it's sweet.
I'm going to change
but
my answer in 15 minutes. Hold on.
I'm gonna go with the Devils in 5. So, all right. This is when does this whole thing start? Tomorrow, right? What games
Yeah,
do we have tomorrow?
I am concerned about them coming out and taking another game to learn their opponent. Like, this was almost deadly. Let's be honest. Here's the downsides to the Devils' win over the Rangers. Let's be very frank and honest. The Devils were a better team, but they went 7. I don't even know if they were a 7-game closeness, but the Devils let that happen by dropping the first 2, going, gee, I don't know. The playoffs are different. And I expected that for a period and maybe a game, but we got 2 games out of that. Now, we can't continue that. We can't take too many games to learn our opponent. The Devils, I think, now hopefully are on the way, like we've got a playoff round under our belt. We got every reason not to worry. I'm not really worried, but I do predict that if we're going to take 2 games to wake up, it might be too late. You can't keep doing that for 4 rounds.
Well, let me ask you a question. Ask you guys all a question. Yeah, we could attribute that first game to the jitters and this
Sure.
team not being in the playoffs ever. Most of these guys, they were, had no experience. But how much of that too was that it was the Rangers, and knowing what that series means to the fans and to the people in that area and to the team itself, and
Right.
what
In front of your
Tony
home
said,
crowd.
for the franchise,
Yes.
what that series means.
Everybody's
Well, now
there in the building.
Right. And now you got that away. It's gone. On game 3, whenever, if we're playing Wednesday, Friday, probably Sunday, game 3 on Sunday, there's not going to be, 30% Hurricane fans in there. It's going to be all Devil fans. It's a whole new series to reset. I don't think that they're going to go in there with those jitters. I really don't.
Yeah, I hope so.
Bob.
Yeah, I think the difference between Game 1 and Game 2 against the Rangers wasn't jitters so much in Game 2. I think
No,
Game
I
2,
agree.
they overcompensated
Yeah.
for some of their weaknesses.
Exactly.
They tried to do a little bit too much hard work, and then the life of that whole emotional Rangers-Devils series took over. It was the same pattern. It was a power play goal, then another. It was the same guy. It literally felt like the same game. It's like a bad movie sequel where it's like,
Yeah.
that's the same fucking
Right.
movie.
Exactly.
And that's what it felt like. So I don't think they were still, outside of the first period of Game 2, I don't think they were still learning. I think once they figured out first period didn't work, they started to play their game. At that point, it was just a little too late. And then we saw what they did, short of the one Game 6 that was a little bit of a blip. So I don't think that's going to happen this series. To make you feel more confident, I wouldn't be surprised if it was more like a Devils win the first game and then possibly drop the next 2, and then, again, adjust from there. But I think those days are gone. I really do feel like this team grew up.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. What games do we have tomorrow? Does anybody have the
Florida,
schedule?
Toronto, and that's the 7 o'clock
starts-
game. And Seattle, Dallas at 9:30.
Do we have any of our games days out already? Do we know? Are we playing Wednesday, Friday, Sunday?
Wednesday, I've seen Wednesday, and I believe Wednesday and Friday are the only 2 games. And I think the time's not announced yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I got to get the TV schedule, too, because now we're off the first round for MSG. MSG has
Yeah.
nothing anymore. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
I wanted to stick around, but we didn't to the very end to find out. Are they going to do any pregame,
Yes,
postgame?
they do the
They are.
pregame and postgame. There's also this Genucell postgame show that I
Oh,
found. Did you guys see
are
that?
we going to get some face cream?
It's actually
Really
really
watch
good.
it.
It's,
it.
it's
I would like
the-
to see Erica and Danico put face cream on each other in some kind of weird, almost the movie Ghost kind of thing.
Right. It's so weird. It's just Danico on those freaking Genucell commercials.
I love my face. My skin
I love
has never
my face.
looked so good, Erica.
It glows.
I love glowing. That's my thing now.
They had so they have a post game. It's Maddie Laughlin, Chico, Scotty Gomez,
Cool.
and the woman that does Erica's job for the Islanders. I don't know her name.
The one we
I
used to
don't
call
watch
Itchy
too
Butt?
many Islander games. No, not her.
She's out.
Yeah, Deb Kaufman.
Yeah, Deb
Yeah.
Kaufman. I missed
Yeah.
her. We said
Yeah.
she used to just
No.
wiggle around on that chair so much
Yeah,
that
like,
we're like,
she
she's
needed
got
to-
an itchy ass or
Somebody
something.
needs to buy her a bidet or something.
Yeah, anybody who
'cause-
remembers Deb Kaufman, Itchy Butt will make sense.
Yeah, totally. But no, not Itchy Butt Kaufman.
Okay.
It's the other woman, but it's really good because the Gomer's fun.
Yeah, he's
after,
great.
After Game 6, they lost. They lose Game 6. I put that post game on the next day. I was just listening to it, and she's like, how does it feel like when you go in and you lose that Game 6? Like just. What's it like? And Gomez just looks at him and goes, "Well, I don't know. I mean, we never lost a Game 6. I have no idea what it's like to blow a Game 6 and then lose a Stanley Cup in Game 7. I don't know. Thanks for bringing that up, though. I really appreciate it.
That's
And
awesome.
he's like, it sucks. It just sucks. That's
Yeah.
it. But you could just. I like Scotty.
He's
so
the best.
he does a good job, and Chico's awesome.
Yeah.
Seeing him at that, and
I miss
listening a little
Chico.
bit-
I wish he was on the Devils broadcast a little bit more.
He's I was listening to Maddie call the Mercer goal
On radio, yeah.
on the radio, and because that game I think was on ESPN, and I couldn't
Yeah,
handle
yeah.
it, so I put it on, and like he calls that Mercer goal, and Chico's screaming in the background. He's so excited. I love
Yeah.
it. He's like, yes. I
He's
was
the
like,
best.
That's what that's what
Ultimate
you want to hear
homer.
from your
I
hometown
listened
guys.
to one of the losses. Maybe it was Game 2 on the radio, and it was awesome listening to Chico because he got very, how Chico gets like very detached and philosophical when they're losing. It's like,
yeah.
oh, and here they are, and this is what they're doing wrong, and it was like it was great. It was awesome. I miss Chico
He
sometimes.
doesn't hold back
Yeah.
though. Chico says how he
No.
feels always. He just
Exactly.
always-
Straight
But,
shooter.
Look, we are on to the second round, boys. We did
Yes.
it. This was the biggest monkey. We finally got it off our backs. The Rangers are dead, gone, buried. See you in January or October. What the hell am I saying? January.
Nobody local
And
left.
yeah,
It's
I
good,
mean,
just us.
Yeah.
this is now a playoff that they had it on earlier. I don't know if you guys saw the stat. 2006, Carolina won the cup. They're the most recent ones to win the cup out of everybody that's
16
in the
years.
playoffs.
Yep, there's going to be a
Yep,
new
so we
winner.
are going to have a brand new Stanley Cup champion that most of young kids, my kids, your kids, I've never seen.
Right.
It's going to be somebody.
It's amazing.
And
Yeah. Very cool year.
Yeah. it's
And I
gonna-
also
it's gonna
heard
be
on that
fun.
same thing, like, legitimately, every one of these teams can win the cup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
agree, I
Even like the
agree.
Kraken, who thought you would say that? Like, legitimately, that's how good and tight this is. It's going to be awesome.
Listen, Kraken play an extremely fast game like us, and they get scoring from everybody. They are a team that, they can go on a run. I mean, I would love to see, like you said, I would love to see Seattle, Vegas, Western Conference Final. That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be
build-
fun?
That
Crazy
would
shit.
start a great rivalry, between those two.
If they
And,
had that, and we had the New Jersey Toronto, that was a good rivalry for a while there in the
Sure.
early 2000s too. Like,
Absolutely.
that was
Owned-
brutal.
but we owned them.
So, yeah, we did,
owned them.
did. But still, there was a mystique about it because Toronto was big and bad at the time.
Oh
and,
yeah.
I remember those series, but that's
Matt
still a
Sundin.
good series.
Yeah. All that shit.
Patty Quinn was coaching them. I
Yep,
remember we
yep.
were at the game. It was a clinching game, second round against Toronto. I think we allowed 2 shots on goal in the third period.
It was
we
6
just
shots
completed-
total. Yes.
6 shots total in the game. Like
in
it
a
was
3
just
3-0 win, I believe.
a dominating performance that
Yeah.
locked that series up. They were some really fun series.
So amazing to
against
see
Toronto,
that
New
this
Jersey.
this Devil team, up until the last game of the series, I didn't think they were capable of that kind of snuffery of
No.
shutting up. But now I think that's not far off from what they did to the Rangers when they had the lead. And I was like, I'm completely shocked by what the Devils did. I hope they keep that up.
It's a
And when
completely
you know, the
different
way-
level team that we've ever seen before. I mean,
No,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely, absolutely,
Definitely.
I mean, their defense is just not letting you have a chance. They don't let you breathe. They smother. They hunt that puck down, no matter where you are, no matter on the ice. All 3 zones, they hunt it down. They play in the offensive zone. They wear you down to the point that when you get that lead in the third period, they can kind of ice it all night. I don't care, and we're not letting you get through the neutral zone. And
Yep.
they did it to perfection.
I'm shocked. They
Like,
turned that on like a light switch.
The way, yeah, I mean, they go out hard first 2 periods, get 3, get 4, lock it down. And we look, they're still a young team. We've seen it this series. We're going to see it against Carolina. If we move further, we're going to see it. They can have stinkers, but they learn from it. They don't have more than one.
We still saw, for as good as they played today, overskating by some very important players. We saw Jack Hughes losing his mind, losing his feet a couple times. We saw Jesper Bratt overskating the puck again, just one step too quick. But that you're gonna hope kind of gets better with every round, you know.
Well, don't you think now things are settling now?
They should, but today they were still a little jumpy. The Stars
right,
were.
but you know, and they still managed to redeem themselves. Look at Hughes bury that beautiful feed. Yeah. I mean, it just buried it. There was total finish in that goal, and that goal was the nail in the coffin. Sure that was it. I mean, you know, so you could say I totally get it. He was like maybe trying a little hard and all over the place. You see Hughes losing edges. It was crazy. You know, he definitely was playing with urgency to the point of, okay, is he all right? And then when it came time, he scored. He was, you know, doing everything right.
Shows me how bad he wants to drive this team to success. Like he just does.
So much to grow into still.
Yeah, and I mean, I just think those nerves from playing the Rangers, they were real, man. They hurt it constantly. Now that all disappears. Yep. There's none of that anymore. Now they can just kind of focus more on the game at hand.
There's no higher pressure matchup in hockey, though. I mean, to take any of the teams, take your rival, there is nothing that you're going to face like the Devils Rangers. That is the and they might not appreciate it in the rest of the country, but it's the total most difficult rivalry, especially for the Devils. You know, you got the whole world against you. New York media is the biggest media in the world.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, to actually now have a playoff round that's going to be all Devils fans with like a spattering of Canes fans, as opposed to actually dividing your building anywhere from 50-50 to 70-30. It's absurd. No other fan base has to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
We do. Now we don't. Mm-hmm. So we moved on, and they suck.
That's true.
Yeah, I was really impressed with, and I heard this all day today or before the game, and I've heard this in a couple other games too, is the way Ruff kept that locker room. It was very calm, they said, before the game today. They said the
playing ping pong and shit.
No one was, it was not as stressed. It was not, I mean, the fans were stressed, but obviously, you know, they said that it was a very loose locker room, and you have to give credit to him for that, because, you know, this series was obviously a tough one, and we said this before, like, the one thing we were lacking was experience. This experience was Game 7 against the Rangers. This was such a task at hand. I mean, it's just, you know, if you really think about, you know.
You know, Ruff did a great job. The whole coaching staff did a great job. You know, Carolina's no pushover. And they've been here before. They've made it to. Ron Brindamore has not lost a first round since being head coach.
Wow.
You know, they've won a cup. Brindamore's won one. Two. One as a coach, one as a player, right? Or just one as a player. I don't know. Anyway. Was it 2006? Was
something
the last
like
time?
that.
So that was he was playing, right? So yeah, that was that he didn't win it as a coach, I guess. But you know, they're not going to be a pushover. But I just think the Devils play this way. Nobody's going to beat them. They play this way. Nobody's going to beat them the way they played tonight. Yep. Carolina will not be able to beat them, and they just have to go out there and execute. So we have Wednesday night, 7:00. So things are going to be a little different for our schedule now, right?
Post game or pre-game?
Post.
Okay.
Post. So again, we can do this. It'll have to be a little bit later on Wednesday because of my work schedule, which kind of sucks. Or we can do it on Thursday if you guys want. Either way. So we can talk about that. We'll figure it out. But does anybody else have anything else they want to share on this amazing evening for the New Jersey Devils?
Oh, I forgot one thing that I heard constantly during the game. Igor.
I don't like that.
What?
I don't like that.
Why?
I don't like that because you know what? Igor Shesterkin is an amazing goaltender, and I just feel like if you give him any more kind of motivation, I don't like that.
But
I get nervous when they do it. What?
It didn't turn him around.
No. But it doesn't mean.
I know what you're saying, Chris. I think in a previous games, it was actually not such a bad thing because it told the Rangers how bad they were sucking.
Yes.
And at this point, I didn't mind they were doing it in the third period, especially just to say fuck you to the Ranger fans who bought tickets and came to the game. Fair enough. Other than that, you're absolutely right. what are you chanting? That he's like a Vezina Trophy winning amazing goaltender? He's a great goaltender that you would be lucky to have on any team. Okay, so I take nothing away from him. The razzing him, if the fans enjoy it and they're fucking with the Rangers players or fans, I'm okay with that because this is the world we live in. But it's not my go-to move. Neither is even the Rangers suck chant, especially in games that don't involve the Rangers. That always bothers me.
That makes me so angry.
Yeah, but you know what? The Rangers do suck.
Let's talk about one play before we wrap it up. When Igor Shesterkin came flying out of his fucking crease and got remote over by Heischer.
Yeah,
on
that's
that
right.
play.
I love it.
I absolutely loved it. He fucking deserved it.
Yeah.
But why was that whistle called?
All right. So I guess what they were saying is there was a penalty, and I feel like this was
On
totally on Miller.
But
I
no
feel like
Rangers
this was
touched the
after.
puck.
I know. This was totally after the fact, and they didn't want to let that be the goal that decided the game because that would have decided the game. And so they called it back, and they realized they couldn't get away with it, and they gave it to them. There were so many calls and non-calls that, honestly, I start feeling like I don't even want to think about them and talk about them. A, the Devils won, and B, it makes you feel like you're doubting your sanity at this point. You don't know where to start and end.
Right.
But I will tell you in all honesty that the NHL was definitely in the bag for the Rangers. The officiating, especially through the first period and then some, was definitely in the bag from the Rangers. And, like, I wouldn't doubt for a second that they did not want that goal to be the deciding goal because Shesterkin ended up looking like ass. It ended up being like, oh my God, what a shit play.
Overflopping.
Right,
Playing
exactly.
dead on the ice.
Exactly. And he's been, trying to come out and play the puck. I give him credit. He's a great puck handler, and he wanted to, like, be the man, jump out there. He gets more intense and upset the worse his team is doing, and he was pissed, and that's why he came out so far. If his team was, like, in the lead, he wouldn't have done that, you know? So, you know what was going on there. I don't take anything away from him, but, I didn't agree with the call. I don't know. Tone, what did you see with that?
I didn't like the call either, but I think, Shesterkin, he was getting frustrated. I think they started sinking into their heads. I think when they went into that third period, they kind of knew, now we're really in trouble now. And I think the Devils were like sharks swarming, even before the third goal. But I will say this, and I think that, guys like Schmid, Siegenthaler, McLeod, and Halla, welcome to the history of the Devils-Rangers series, because now you're burnt into it. You're going to be 20 years from now, people are going to look back and say, remember when Siegenthaler scored that goal in that series? Yes. Or, McLeod in Game 7, Tatar in Game 7. I mean, so it's just, what we saw tonight was special.
Definitely.
Sure was, but it ain't over.
It ain't over.
So,
it's the biggest Devil Game 7 win. Against the Rangers ever.
Absolutely.
And the biggest Devil Game 7 win maybe ever? I'm trying to think.
Anaheim.
No, we got to take Anaheim for the cup. But if you take that one away, this is number 2, isn't it?
I'll go Ottawa 2000.
Okay, that's pretty big. Definitely, because it goes on to win.
Jeffries and Bernie.
That was Eastern. Or was that 2001? I don't remember what
definitely
year
the biggest round 1 win. I'll tell you that.
Most definitely the best round 1. Definitely the best Ranger win Game 7 against the Rangers, rather.
That's right.
So, but I mean, no, it was right there. And I said to you guys, I texted you guys, other than any cup-winning series, this was by far my favorite series. And the one that I wanted to win more than any other.
Absolutely, because we're starting our franchise off. This is the debut. And to start off on this foot, huge. We're going to be loving this for years.
And, the Rangers had no answers for us tonight. I did not. I expected, and we went through our scores. I think we all had 1-goal games. I think Tony had a 2-goal and said it was an empty netter.
I honestly need to go back to it because I think I had like 5-1 or 4-0. I'm not even kidding.
You did. You did have 5-1.
Yeah.
And then
that's close. I had the same differential.
I had 5-4, an overtime win.
Right.
But I didn't expect a 4-0. Would any of us have had the ball? None of us had the balls to say 4-0 shutout.
I was this close though. I said 5-1.
2-1, 1-0. I was kind of, especially after that first period.
I was giving the Rangers a late garbage goal, if I recall correctly, which they almost got, but they didn't. So they fucked me on that.
It was complete dominance.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other word for it. It was so much fun to watch, and you know what? Good for this young team, good for this coaching staff, and good for the fans. I mean, like we said, we've gone through it. We've seen it. We've seen these guys raise cups. We've been there. But there's just such a young generation that has never even touched anything like this. and now they're going to be on the ground floor for it, and that's super exciting.
I don't know about you guys. I'm going to enjoy reading New York media as much as possible tomorrow. I'm going to tune into the fucking Fan. I'm going to enjoy every second of it.
I might call in.
They're just going to immediately start talking about the Knicks.
Chris is just going to call in.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, look, this was an amazing victory for this team. They looked phenomenal, and Carolina, good team, but they're gonna have their fucking hands full with us.
Can't wait.
That's just a damn truth. So
Path
we're
to
gonna
the Eastern Conference Finals does seem attainable,
doable
for sure.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
Yep. It's coming into focus a little bit.
We all said it. Whoever came out of this series was gonna be the one to go on the run.
And that's the one thing I will say, as far as most analysts overpicking the Rangers, there was an agreement in general that the winner of this series likely could go to the finals. So that's coming from a lot of people.
Maybe.
Carolina's going to have something to say about
Toronto.
that. So they have to stay on their game. They can't get ahead of themselves. They haven't won anything. Well, they did win a series, but they haven't won the big one yet. So, just keep on playing what they're doing. I mean, this team, there's no fucking quit. This is so much fun to watch. I mean, going into this year,
Hey, how about
none
watching,
of us expected this.
Are you guys excited to see the next time PK Subban and Mark Messier get to do a broadcast together? Because Mark Messier has been fucking rubbing his nose and shit like, oh, I've got cups. I can't wait to see Mess hanging out with PK. It's got to be the most annoying day of his life the next time they're together.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We're going to definitely keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, guys, listen, Devil fans around the world, if you, whatever you're feeling, whatever you think, how excited you are, please let us know. Hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Instagram, hit us up at unclepuckers@gmail.com, and we will be more than happy to listen to what you guys have to say, talk about it on the air. For Dan, Bobby, Tony, I'm Chris. We're the Uncle Puckers, and we will see you right after Game 1 of Round 2.